and welcome to It Figures. Tonight I am going to be reviewing my very first reaction figure. And this one is going to be of Alien. So anyone who's watched my channel has probably seen at least one or two of my pop figure reviews, because I have quite a lot of them on here. And this figure is made by the same company, Funko. And I do have a lot to say about this figure. First of all, these should not be $10 or $15 figures. Because as you can see, what Funko was trying to do was make like figures from the 1980s, repackage them with some of the newer characters that are around today, even though Alien's not really a new character, but make them appear that they were created basically in the 80s when the Star Wars figures were. Which I think is a really fantastic idea. And even though I've never really opened one of these figures up yet, I can say that I don't think these figures are worth $10 and $15. I actually found this one at Walmart for $5, and that's the reason why I picked it up. As you see with the packaging, it's great packaging, very retro, very 80s, like I said, and I love the packaging of these figures. It's really cool. These are literally something you would have seen hanging on the hook in the toy section back in the 80s. Okay, so let's open up my very first reaction figure. So here we go, my first reaction figure, and my first reaction to this figure is it's not worth $12, $15. The detail here on the Alien really isn't that terrible. It's a much larger figure than most of the reaction figures that are out there, which is one of the reasons why I picked it up. And the other reason is I'm a huge Alien fan. So okay, let's take a look at the detail. The rib cage here is pretty good. I mean, as you can see, for a retro figure, they did a pretty good job with it. And yeah, I can't really complain about the detail. It's okay, it's nothing spectacular. The tail is pretty nice too. And I can tell you, without the tail, this figure would not stand up on its own. The top of the dome is rubber banded onto the figure. And as the back of the box states, that there's a switch inside the dome that you turn, and if you turn the switch, his mouth will come out. But I'm also afraid that if you take the rubber band off, the dome will constantly fall off this figure. But being that I'm reviewing the figure, I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. Alright, so I took the rubber band off of the dome, and actually, surprisingly, it fits on there pretty well. It's pretty snug. I mean, it does have like a little ridge on there where it fits on there. So it does fit on there pretty snug, and you know, it's not coming off once you turn it upside down. And as far as I know, this is the only reaction figure that has any sort of like action button on it. I could be wrong, I haven't gotten any of the other ones. But as far as I know, this is the only one that actually does anything. Okay, as you can see, the button is right there on the top. And I kind of do like, you can see the front skull there. And the paint job on the skull is pretty nice. On top here is the lever, and when you push it towards the front, his mouth actually does come out. And there it is. Kind of looks like he's eating a piece of bubble gum. As for articulation, he would have the same amount of articulation as any figure would in the 80s. Basically, his arms go up and down. They do not bend at the elbow. His head rotates, not far, but it does rotate. His tail actually does move up and down. If you move it up, the figure will just fall over. And he does have articulation in the legs, but his knees do not bend. I really hate to say this, but I do kind of like this Alien figure. I didn't think I would, but the sculpt here is pretty good, and I love the clear dome that you can take it off, and he has an action feature. Okay, so let's bring up the old Figometer and see how Alien stacks up. As for paint, being he's molded in one color, except for the circles underneath his dome, I would give a 2 out of 5. Articulation here is pretty bad, so I would give articulation a 2 out of 5. Sculpting wise here is actually better than I thought it would be. Even though it's very plain, it still gets the job done. And I like it a lot. So sculpting would get a 3 out of 5. So if all of these figures were like $3.99 or $4.99, I probably would have collected a whole lot more of these rather than the $12 or $15 they're asking. If you can find this guy in a bargain bin like I did, definitely pick him up if you're an Alien fan or just a fan of what action figures used to look like back in the day. So if you like tonight's It Figures, please subscribe so I can see you next time.